Just hours after the tragic death of Tatiana Schlossberg, granddaughter of John F. Kennedy, a shocking wave of controversy erupted online as Donald Trump took to social media, seemingly mocking the bereaved Kennedy family. Tatiana, daughter of Caroline Kennedy and her husband Edwin Schlossberg, passed away on December 30th at just 35 years old, leaving behind two young children and a grieving family still reeling from the news of her acute myeloid leukemia diagnosis. The timing of Trump's post immediately sent shockwaves across social media, sparking outrage, disbelief, and a flurry of discussions about decency, politics, and the limits of public commentary during a moment of private grief. Known for his combative online presence, Trump did not directly mention Tatiana's passing, but his post highlighted the ongoing feud between him and the Kennedy family over the naming of the Kennedy Center, a long-standing cultural institution dedicated to the memory of John F. Kennedy. The controversy escalated as Trump shared multiple screenshots of MAGA supporters attacking the Kennedys for allegedly neglecting the center, portraying them as out of touch and indifferent to their own family legacy. Some posts went as far as criticizing the family for publicly opposing Trump's decision to add his name to the Kennedy Center, framing the situation as a clash of political egos rather than a moment to honor the life of a grieving young mother. Among the posts amplified by Trump was one from Breitbart editor-in-chief Raheem Kassam, claiming that the Kennedy family rarely raises funds for the center and seldom participates in its events, except for members within Trump's administration. While these claims have yet to be independently verified, the timing of their amplification immediately after Tatiana's death added an element of shock and heightened tension across social media platforms. Meanwhile, members of the Kennedy family, including John F. Kennedy's only grandson, Jack Schlossberg, voiced opposition to the renaming of the institution and questioned the legality of Trump's unilateral decision. Measured and dignified. Statements and posts highlighted the importance of remembering Tatiana not for the controversy surrounding her family, but for the life she lived and the love she shared with her children. Maria Shriver, in particular, shared a heartfelt message urging everyone to pause and reflect on their own lives, emphasizing the gift of life and the fragility of existence. These tributes struck a stark contrast to the political attacks, reminding the public of the human element often lost in sensational online arguments. At the same time, legal and political commentators dissected Trump's actions, questioning whether there could be consequences for the timing and nature of his posts, while debating the rules and traditions surrounding the Kennedy Center and public institutions. The combination of legal scrutiny, historical significance, and deeply personal tragedy created a uniquely tense atmosphere where every tweet and every response was amplified by emotion, history, and the stakes of public perception. Journalists and analysts began to explore the larger implications of the situation, noting how the intersection of personal grief and public controversy can shape narratives, influence public opinion, and even redefine the boundaries of acceptable discourse in political life. For millions watching from around the world, the unfolding story offered a mix of suspense, outrage, rage, and reflection, keeping audiences engaged as they tried to understand the motivations, repercussions, and moral dimensions of Trump's social media strategy. Meanwhile, ordinary citizens weighed in on the ethical questions. Is it ever acceptable to air grievances during a moment of mourning? Should political disputes be put aside in the face of human tragedy? Or does the right to critique persist regardless of circumstance? These questions sparked intense debate, with no clear consensus emerging. Across platforms, the conversation was split, highlighting the cultural and ideological divides that define much of today's political landscape. The juxtaposition of Tatiana's personal story, a young life cut tragically short, with the escalating public feud, added an element of tension and suspense that few anticipated. Every new post, every reaction, and every share acted like another turn in a story that was simultaneously heartbreaking and combustible. As hours passed, the narrative evolved into something larger than either Tatiana's death or Trump's posts alone. It became a moment of cultural reflection on empathy, respect, and the power of public figures to shape discourse in ways that touch both hearts and headlines. For the Kennedy family, the challenge was immense, maintaining grace and dignity in the face of personal grief while navigating a highly politicised public environment. For Trump and his followers, the moment was framed as a battle over legacy, authority, and influence. And for the audience, the story remained gripping, suspenseful, and impossible to ignore. A vivid reminder that in the modern era, personal loss, political conflict, and the relentless pace of social media can collide with explosive consequences. Even as tributes to Tatiana's life continued to pour in, the shadow of controversy lingered, ensuring that the conversation would remain both emotionally charged and politically charged, with every development scrutinised, debated, and shared across millions of feeds worldwide.